YouTube? This is Brecky from Brecky Writes, and this is Brecky Reads, and this is my Author-A-Thon wrap-up video. Author-A-Thon was hosted by Joanna Sousa and Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, and I will link their channels down in the description. And it was a readathon that went from the 18th of April to the 24th of April and was all about reading your favorite author or authors. Now, there were two ways to participate in the Author-A-Thon. One was to try to do all 6 of their challenges, and I will link those down below in case you're curious. I did not do the 6 challenges. I did the other way of participating in Author-A-Thon, which was reading one author through a whole week, and I did that by reading the rest of the books in the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. So the first book that I finished in Author-A-Thon was Fairest by Marissa Meyer. This is book 3.5 in the Lunar Chronicles. This is a short novel that follows the backstory of the evil Queen Lavanna. If you've read any of the Lunar Chronicles, you will know that she is the Queen of Luna, which is the moon, and she is not the nicest person. No, nice would not be a word you would use ever to describe her at any point in her life, probably. And this is the backstory of how she became quite such a vile creature that she is. Now, I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I think that it was good. It just didn't have as much going on in it as the other books. It's very short, like I said, and as you will see, the books in Lunar Chronicles are rather long, and this is not. And so I think because this only follows one story and the rest of the Lunar Chronicles are following multiple story threads, so they feel really full and interesting and well woven, this felt a little, I wouldn't say flat, but it just wasn't as interesting to me. I did enjoy this, and if you are interested in reading the Lunar Chronicles, don't miss this. I would say definitely read it between Cress and Winter, which is where she suggests reading it, or saving it for after Winter, although there's a lot in here that helps make the last book make more sense. The next book that I finished for Author-A-Thon I actually read during Madewey's 24-hour readathon, and that is Winter by Marissa Meyer. This is over 800 pages, so it is a chunk of a book. I actually listened to this on audiobook because I had some projects I had to work on during the day and I couldn't sit and read that whole time. So I got about 12 hours of reading in by listening to the audiobook. This was great. I really enjoyed Winter. I felt very satisfied with it. Winter is both the fairy tale retelling of Snow White, who is Princess Winter, the stepdaughter of the evil Queen Lavanna, but also this is the culmination of all the fairy tale threads that we have been reading about through the Lunar Chronicles. I'm not going to say more than that because I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I really enjoyed this. I know there are a lot of people who feel like this is not a satisfying ending. I felt like it delivered on everything that was promised. There are places I would like to see more development, like some of the ending pieces that I would like to have seen more of, but ultimately this is 800 pages. If there had been more of anything, it would have been over 1,000 pages, so you have to stop somewhere, and I was satisfied. It, to me, was a great fairy tale ending for a great fairy tale series. And the final book that I read for Author-A-Thon was Stars Above. Now, this is Lunar Chronicles book 4.5, because this is a collection of short stories. It's not exactly short stories that take place after Winter, so technically Winter is the last book in the Lunar Chronicles, but this is in the Lunar Chronicles universe, I guess is how this works. But this collection of short stories follows our 8 main characters and different points that take place previous to the events in the books, except for the very last short story, which takes place after the events of Winter. And I actually read that last short story immediately after finishing Winter because I'm impatient and I wanted to know what happens, which is fine, These were cute. I gave these 4 out of 5 stars. They were cute short stories. They were interesting little snippets to help us understand the characters and how they got to be where they were when we met them in the Lunar Chronicles. I realized as I read this that I was going to miss this universe. I think that the world that Marissa Meyer has built is really fascinating, and I think that her use of fairy tales and sort of soft science fiction with those fairy tales was really an interesting read. I love all fairy tale retellings, and part of me wants to jump into some other interesting fairy tale retellings, maybe someone else who's doing something similar, although from what I hear she's kind of the game in town if you want not adult content fairy tales or just sort of traditional fairy tales that have been told sort of the same way again and again. I loved this. I love this whole series. This was a great, cute little wrap-up. It's not essential. You don't need to read this, but I would suggest it if you've enjoyed the Lunar Chronicles. All in all, it was a pretty great reading week. I read well over 1,000 pages. I also was reading some nonfiction for work things, and I am taking a class, so the fact that I got through this much reading in a week is impressive to me. I have a couple of books that I plan on starting, so I am glad to have been able to get through 3 books for Author-A-Thon. Did any of y'all participate in Author-A-Thon? I would love to know, and tell me what your favorite book of Author-A-Thon was for you. For me, I think it would have to go with Winter. This might actually be my favorite book in the series. I'm thinking about it still, but this one I really, really loved. All right, I hope all of you are doing well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!